My loving greetings, Vanakkam, Namaste, and Prem Namaskar to one and all of you who have connected to the Sadhana program. It is going to be a beautiful session today. At the outset, I want to impress upon you that Hindus throughout the world are observing the sacred festival of lights, which is known as Deepavali or Diwali. So much of the program today is going to focus on the light. Let us go into a relaxation session, but sitting calm, comfortably in a sacred posture. Place your hands on your thighs, palms facing upwards. Gently close your eyes. And we will do the warm chant to commence. We take deep, slow, long breaths through our nostrils, and with our outward breath, we will chant warm. And we will do this 5 times. So let us all begin. You can stop your chant and you can gently open your eyes. Thank you. Welcome again to all of you who have connected with this program. We're going to begin with pranayamam. Pranayamam, which is the scientific art of mastering the breathing. Breath is life, and when breath stops, so too does life. So it is important we concentrate on breathing exercises on a daily basis to have an impact on the overall health and well-being. So let me just discuss some of the precautionary measures we take into consideration when we are undertaking any pranayama exercises. Firstly is that whenever you're doing pranayama, you must choose to practice at the same time, at the same place, in the same posture every day. So you have to create that habit. Same time, same posture. You have to do this and in the same place, the same venue. The second important thing is that we have to ensure that we're carrying out the pranayamam in a room or place which is very, very clean, free of dust, cobwebs, and it's an airy environment. So there has to be a lot of fresh air in that particular environment because we don't want to start breathing in air that is laden with any form of dust. And the important thing is that we must not do pranayama in front of someone else. Because what happens is that if we have any bacterial or viral infection, then we may end up infecting the other person, whoever is in front, when we're doing this pranayama. And the final thing is that when we're doing pranayama exercise, we have to ensure that we do not exceed more than 16 cycles of pranayama. If we do, we may end up hyperventilating, or we may have too much of oxygen in our blood than is required. And if that happens, we may not feel well, or we may not feel easy or comfortable with excess oxygen in your bloodstream. Therefore, in any one session, we try and place a ceiling, the limit of 16 cycles. Pranayama also involves two important aspects of breathing. The first one is the cleansing pranayama. We have to cleanse our lungs, our air sacs, our bronchioles, and the trachea, which is the passage through which the air goes from the mouth down to the lungs. Those all that those aspects of the respiratory system must be clean. And then we have to also cleanse the upper respiratory tract, that includes the sinuses and the nasal passages and your mouth and so forth. Some of the things that causes the pollution in this respiratory tract include particulate matter, that is your dust particles. It could include also smoke particles if you're exposed to any smoke in any environment, and chemical particles. If you are in an industrial area, the ambient environment may be exceeding chemical particles in the air, like um, sulfur dioxide, for instance. So we have to ensure that we get rid of all these particles from the lungs. If we have dust particles, smoke particles, chemical particles, and then you also have mucus that is generated in when you're not well, you got the cold or flu. So the mucus also causes blockages in the air sacs and your bronchi and your trachea. So we have to get rid of all that. So when we are breathing, the air in our nostrils normally filter out most of the dust particles um, that gain access to the nostrils. But however, if the dust particles are under 7 microns in diameter, then those dust particles go right through and lodge itself in the lungs, and including smoke particles. So if you actually look at a smoker's lungs in a laboratory condition, the smoker's lungs will look blackish in color because of the accumulation of smoke particles in the lungs. Whereas a non smoker and a person who's relatively in a clean environment, his lungs will be pinkish in color. So you'll have a black set of lungs who are exposed to smoke particles, and pink lungs with, of a person who has not been exposed to the smoke particles. In India, many of the priests that work in the temples, and they are in the Mulasanam doing Devaradhane, or turning the light of Diya over the Murti all day and all day. And they take that light and offer it to the devotees that come to the temple. Because of the exposure to the smoke on a daily basis, a survey that was carried out um, in India showed that more than 90% of the priests were suffering from respiratory problems simply because of the exposure to lungs. And we ourselves don't know to what extent our lungs are full of particulate matter. And therefore, on a daily basis, we have to eject the particulate matter from the lungs, including dust particles, smoke particles, and including the mucus. So, to do this, the first technique is you breathe in deeply and blow out vigorously. Breathe in deeply and blow out vigorously. When you do this, the force with which you start blowing out creates the loosening of the mucus in the lungs and the other parts of the respiratory tract. And subsequently, you'll find you'll start coughing out all the mucus. And in the process of doing that technique, you eject all the particulate matter. And if you do this practice with a beam of light coming through, you will see the particulate matter in a light beam when you're actually doing this. So you breathe in deeply and blow out vigorously. So let us all do this particular technique to help clean the lungs and the lower respiratory tract. So sit comfortably, breathe in deeply, and blow out vigorously. Do it a few times. And the next technique to do the same thing is to breathe in deeply through your nostrils and cough vigorously like this. By this proactive, vigorous coughing, we end up coughing out all the particulate matter from the lungs and trachea out, and we start loosening all the mucus, which will subsequently come out when we, in our normal breathing, we'll tend to cough out the phlegm from from the lungs and the trachea. So in that way, we loosen everything. You look at our grandparents, there was no nebulizer at that stage to help clean the chest. They used to relax in the bed. They would have a jam tin or a milk tin, and they should breathe in vigorous, and they should cough, 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 and spit out into the tin. They used to do that as a child. I felt very uncomfortable about it, but now I realize that was their way of keeping the system clean. So we have to do this particular exercise. Now you can sit comfortably, um, and we can take a deep breath through your nostrils and cough out vigorously. And in this way, you start coughing out all your particulate matter, dust particles, smoke particles, and other, even including infection, bacterial and viral infection that are there. You'll cough it out. And you will also loosen out all your mucus that are lodged in different parts of the respiratory tract. So let us breathe in deeply and cough out vigorously. Can you do this a few times on your own? Okay, you can stop. Now that you cleared the lower respiratory tract, we now need to go to the upper respiratory tract. We must also ensure that whenever we're doing cleansing, we must start off cleaning the lower respiratory tract first. Because if you cleanse your upper respiratory tract, including your sinuses and your nasal passages, then subsequently do the coughing pranayamam, then all what you're clearing out from the bottom will end up lodging itself in the sinuses or in the nasal passages after you have cleared them. So therefore, you have to start the bottom first and then go up. Your upper respiratory tract, we have to breathe in deeply through both our nostrils. Use the thumb to block your right nostril and blow out vigorously through your left nostril. In this way, you'll blow out all the mucus or phlegm, dust particles from your sinus. You'll start clearing out your sinuses and your nasal passages. Let's do it like this. And then, when you finished your left nostril, then you take a deep breath in and you block your left nostril and blow out through the right. In this way, you'll be able to clear out your sinuses and your nasal passages. So let's begin. Take a thumb, block your right nostril, breathe in deeply through both your nostrils, block your right nostril, blow out through the left. Let us do it together. You can do it a few more times. Now take a deep breath in, block your left nostril and blow out through your right. And you can do this a few times. So both your right and left side of your nasal passages and your sinuses will be cleared. So go on and do it a few times. Clear both your right and the left. Okay, by doing these cleansing exercises, you actually keep your entire respiratory system clear, open, and in good condition. So whenever you're doing other breathing exercises like the Anulom Vilom Kriya Pranayama or the Akinile Kriya Pranayama, which we did last week, or so those pranayama exercises which are highly spiritual and highly impactful will achieve the optimum outcomes if you do the cleansing one first. So if and you also when you do the cleansing exercises on a daily basis, you'll keep your respiratory system very, very healthy and your breathing will be strong and healthy. So even if you are a person who's got wheezing and problems with your chest, you'll find your health will start improving phenomenally by doing this breathing exercises. So we'll now just go on from here. I'm going to share some wisdom. Firstly, um, I did mention that throughout the world, the Hindus are celebrating the Diwali or Diwali, which is a festival of lights. Deepam means light. So Deepavali is characterized by light. It signifies the victory of the light over darkness, the victory of knowledge over ignorance, the victory of virtue over evil. So, this is a victory you have to achieve in the journey of your life. And sadhana must help you to achieve this victory. The darkness of the night represents the evil and the darkness of ignorance. So we go through the night full of darkness, where our lives are enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, by the evil, the impurity, the ignoble life, and all the negative emotions of anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, lust, and greed. So when we are burning the fireworks that gives rise to thunderous noise, it has a significant meaning. The bursting of the firework signifies the destruction, the decimation, and the annihilation of all the suffering and the pain that we're going through. It signifies the destruction of all our negative emotions of anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, lust, and greed, and all other. It signifies the destruction of fear that is affecting our lives. It signifies the destruction of all the inner struggle, the inner suffering, the inner conflicts that we have, that all of which are affecting us in the journey of our lives. So when we are actually experiencing all the noise in the bursting of the fireworks, we must experience this destruction taking place in our lives. So it also represents the destruction of the darkness of ignorance in our lives. So all this destruction that takes place, signified by the bursting of the fireworks. As the day dawns in the morning, the light emerges and the darkness disappears. It signifies new beginnings, renewal, regeneration of our lives, and a resurrection of our lives. Because of all the destruction that took place the night before, we have moved into new state in the morning, by the morning. And then we end up early in the morning having an oil bath. The oil bath where we rub it into our eyes, our ears, and our body, and our head. This actually signifies the cleansing of all the residue from our bodies, the residue of the darkness, the residue of the darkness of ignorance, the residue of the darkness of the negative emotions and all the suffering, the fear that our lives are enveloped with. So when we apply all the oil and have this bath, we feel fresh because we even got rid of all the residue of all the suffering and all the negativity in our lives. And what happens after that? We wear new clothes. We wear new clothes, signifying that our lives have been renewed, regenerated, moving into a beautiful state. And we're identifying with this renewal, the regeneration, the resurrection in our life. And we're putting on new clothes to signify that newness, that renewal, the new beginnings. So, with the new beginnings, we start celebrating. We are so happy. We're excited because of the new beginnings. We got rid of that old order of life with all the suffering, the negative emotions, and the darkness of ignorance. So we're moving into the space celebrating. And in this celebration, we make sweetmeats, we make beautiful foodstuffs, and we share the sweetmeats and the food with our loved ones, with our neighbors, with our friends, because we are experiencing the joy and the thrill of the renewal. We are experiencing the joy and the thrill of the regeneration in our lives. And because of this thrill that we're experiencing, we share food with others to celebrate with us because of what we are experiencing. And this is what happens at Diwali. We celebrating because we are free of any pain and suffering. We are celebrating because we are free of the grips of the negative emotions of anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, lust, greed, and even fear. We set ourselves free of all these negative emotions. And we want to continue to sustain ourselves into this beautiful state. We want to continue to be moving into this beautiful state. And therefore, we are in this beautiful celebration, celebrating the light which is the divine. We're celebrating the light of wisdom. We have knowledge. When the darkness disappears, the darkness of the night disappears, the light of the day emerges, and we're experiencing the knowledge, the light of knowledge. But with the light of knowledge, when we are celebrating in the ecstasy of spiritual experience, we're moving from knowledge to experience, arivu to unarvu. And now we got from knowledge to experiential wisdom. And that's where we are actually moving to. So this is a beautiful transitioning process we must experience on this beautiful, auspicious Deepavali or Diwali, and then Diwali as relevance for all of us. Now let us sit comfortably in a sacred posture, in a sacred manner, as we move into a state of meditation. We must ensure that our spine is upright and our hands are on our thighs, palms facing upwards. You breathe through your nostrils slowly with deep, long breaths to ground yourself into a state of meditation. And you continue to breathe for a few moments to move into a deep state of relaxation. As you relax, your mind slows down. You move into a beautiful inner state. You find yourself resonating at a high level of consciousness. Your inner pain and suffering is gone. All your negative emotions have also disappeared. The darkness of ignorance is behind you. And you are in a beautiful sacred space. Now visualize a golden flame at the space in between your eyebrows. This is the seat of consciousness, the Agnya Chakra. The flame is glowing with golden brightness. A beautiful manifestation of the Supreme Divine, the Supreme Reality. As you're looking into the light that you are visualizing, feel the energy and experience the vibrations of this light. This light is a symbol that epitomizes the victory of good and virtue over evil, the victory of knowledge and wisdom over the darkness of ignorance. Experiencing the energy of the light is experiencing the divine. And now feel a sense of oneness and synergy with your divine. Put on a beautiful smile on your face as you experience the overwhelming presence of the divine in this sacred light. As you immerse yourself in the divine experience, your inner beautiful state, your high level of consciousness, the joy in your heart, the peace in your mind, and the bliss in your life becomes prominent. Now immerse yourself in this beautiful state. Feeling your high level of consciousness, experiencing your beautiful inner state, and experiencing the peace in your mind and joy in your heart. From this beautiful state, now place a powerful intent at the lotus feet of your divine for you to continue your life free of any pain or suffering, for you to continue your life free of any negative emotions, and for your life to continue experiencing a beautiful inner state, sustaining your life in a high level of consciousness, and for you to continue experiencing the joy, peace, and bliss in your lives. This is the powerful intent you place at the lotus feet of God with absolute clarity, with passion and feeling from your heart. And if there is authenticity of intention for you to achieve this, then the results will be what you want. Now visualize yourself in this beautiful experience in 3 dimension and color. Whatever you're asking for, whatever your intents are, visualize yourself experiencing this. On your right side, visualize it, and visualize it in 3 dimension and in color. You must visualize whatever you're asking for as if it is happening now. The divine is handing you what you are asking for. What an amazing moment for you. Feel everything is happening to you right now. You are going through all these motions of these beautiful states, and you continue your life in these beautiful states. Feel it, experience it, become part of it. Feel the joy and the thrill of this experience. You are blessed with such an amazing experience. Now give thanks and gratitude to God for giving you what you're asking for. This beautiful life in this journey. In this human journey, you are blessed with such a beautiful life, resonating at a high level of consciousness, free of suffering, free of all the negative emotion, experience joy, peace, and happiness in your life. Give thanks and gratitude to God for giving you such a beautiful life. Now slowly come back to your body, become aware of your mind. Listen to your breathing as you become grounded. Take a deep breath in through your nostrils to become completely grounded. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Give thanks and gratitude to your divine for going through this program and more especially this meditation tonight. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Thank you to all of you who have connected. Um, I want to take this opportunity today to wish all those who are celebrating the Deepavali or Diwali all the best on this beautiful festival of lights. Enjoy the celebrations and remember the significance of everything that you do during the celebrations because then it will be impactful on your life and the journey that is ahead of you. So I pray that you'll experience joy in your hearts, peace in your minds, and bliss in your lives. Till we meet again, God bless you. Nandri Vanakkam.